everything that I'm saying is partial understanding of and partial interpretation, because there's always something that we do not see, something that we cannot actually yet perceive. Okay, so because I cannot, it's actually, I think, the worst the worst defilement of holiness, to actually speak in terms of knowing, a complete knowing. Okay, so having said that, I'm not going to say that to state opposition, but I'm going to try and open it. Okay. Hannukah is actually fight for spiritual sort of sovereignty. Okay. It means that we need to sort of, that the battle is very much to do with consciousness. And the true battle today is of consciousness. Okay? The true battle is of consciousness of what actually the world declare, the academic world will declare as the most important, which is to do with identities. Now, and we know who leads it in terms of the power, the intellectual power that actually wish to explain the world through that which is called post-modernism. And there is such a theory, or a few theories, whether it's European or American or a mix of them, whether they're Derrida or Lacan or whatever, that actually almost sort of stealing from the corners of the possibility to decipher reality. Yeah, actually, it's code of deciphering, and this is the theories of how actually can we decipher through intellectual grasp what actually we're trying to decipher, who is controlling the narrative. True? We are together so far.
Yeah.
Now, the fight now, definitely of Israel, is who is controlling the narrative. And what kind of actually narrative or is able to be heard, not in terms of who is just, in terms of whether narrative should be something that is actually separating people, or narrative should be something that is bringing people together to the same purpose. And I think this is the fight today, and this is a true Hannukah fight. So it means what actually the world tries to initiate us to. If we stay with they're right and we are wrong, or you are right and this is wrong, first what we lose is the moral fiber of right and wrong. It's as though everything is explainable. And definitely what we're witnessing is things that should not be explained. Evil should not be explained, should not be rationalized, should not be put within a narrative or within a condition. It should be stated as it is, outside of human definition, of what is human. And then, okay, then we can start to sort of look and search what actually definitely Kabbalah terms, in terms of higher mind, can bring as holding the human story together with one purpose, and not giving it, sort of many identities and many narratives that actually fracture this the skin, I would say, of what can actually dress or engulf humanity. So I think this is where, as humans, as a body of humanity, we are injured. Okay, with the intellectual sort of theory of interpretation of reality, and I think this is being sort of shattered now, and it has many, and as well the, let's say, the perception of that was governing Israel till the 7th of October was shattered as well. So it means that all those things that actually create separation and create sort of forceful, violent perception will crumble. Okay. And it will reverberate. It's like a domino in that respect. So this is one angle to look at it. It needs to be broken in order for something else to emerge. Okay. We don't know yet what. I just know that it has to do with what I term as radical hope. And it's not radical hope only for us, for Israel, or for Jews. It's radical hope for humanity. And I think within the Kabbalistic view, if we will sort of surrender to it, something can form in us. Something can be allowed to sort of to become and to become. So this is why I think it's so important to see that how both forces, which will be the messianic in true terms of messianic forces, which are Yehuda and Yosef, are starting actually to fall in this. Both of them are going down. Yehuda because of his choice, and Yosef is more under the influence, I would say. Yeah. So those forces actually indicates the force indicates, and they are an indication of what will be the form of the inner struggle in each one of us that wish to define itself as Israel, and how it will sort of express itself in humanity as a whole. So it's a whole of mirrors. Yeah. Yes. So this is one way. So it has to do with no true Kabbalist of uh, high pedigree was actually ignorant of the philosophy, history, and science of his time or her time. So being a Kabbalist, male or female, does not say that you give up your intellectual powers, but it suggests that they need to be set not as the most important, but as an aid, as a servant to a higher intelligence. But if we would not be, if we would not develop, let's say, the understanding, the science understanding that we have today of the world, we will not be able to understand 10% of the Zohar and 2% even of Ari. So they go hand in hand. So when we speak about belief, which is not according to what people think about belief, we think about higher intelligence, not lower intelligence, right? So it is important to, but because it's not so much to do with, we cannot control it as we think that we control our intellectual powers. We, our attitude towards this higher or light intelligence is as though it's insulting our intellectual powers. And this is why we perceive it as weakness. Yeah. So, being religious, let's say, or a believer, it's sort of half an insult. Half insult, yeah. He's intelligent, but he believes in God. Hmm?
Yeah.
So this should be, this will shatter, because it's like looking at someone as native, primitive native. Yeah? We need to see that we harbor it in ourselves, this view. It sneaks on us. Okay? So this is the struggle of Hannukah, actually. We go through, it's to go through a ceremony of initiation to the light, to the fact that this intelligence tries to actually penetrate us if we let it. But it always tries to penetrate us. Okay. Yes. So this is the time, the portion in Hannukah a little bit, as it. So there's always the highest power of the Greek philosophy of the West in us. Yeah, in all its sort of expressions and demonstrations. Yeah, whether it's the perception of power and ignoring the other, or whether it's a fracturizing or fracturized perception of the world and humanity. It's the same. It's separating. It's separating in order to control, usually.